could you believe me when I said I love you, when you know I've been a liar all my life?
You've had that reputation since you was a youth.
You must have been insane to think I'd tell you the truth. How could you believe me when I said I love you, when you know I've been a liar?
You sure have been a liar.
A double-crossing liar.
A double-crossing liar.
Oh, my doggone cheating lie.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? This is my regular blog. I want to ask you a question, because it always sounds like I'm attacking people. I don't want to attack anybody in this blog. I want to talk about the simple truth. I noticed that Hillary Clinton has been raving and raving about her difference between Barack Obama, because she's the one of experience. Experience, and nobody questions it. Nobody doubts it. Everybody identifies with her experience. If anybody else but this lady told you about experience, and the only experience is what her husband did when she never did anything for a living in her life, would you respect anybody's experience? If a doctor all of a sudden, God forbid, passed away, and his wife told you, I'm the one with experience, would you let her operate on you because the doctor is the person she lived with or married? Isn't that stupid? It's just so blatantly vulgar and absolutely obnoxious for anybody to even say these things. But to believe it, you got to be a moron. How is anybody stupid enough to value her experience? Why experience what? Where? The New York Times had a story, and the New York Times certainly is not against the Clintons, that she was never even privy to intelligence reports. She had nothing to do with anything on an international level. She had no information. She didn't ask for information. She had nothing to do with it. The only thing experience she has is protecting a guy who lived a life of degeneracy. And that was the only time she got involved. She never got involved in any political or international issues. She got involved when he attacked a woman. So you had to make sure you destroy her. And she was in charge of destroying women that he attacked. Then she was in charge of anybody who was his political enemy, and she had to find somebody who would do some kind of detective work, so unearth any kind of dirt or filth or disgusting stories about them to see why do you think they had they had FBI files in their own home, and it was discovered in their home. The FBI files were there so that anybody who attacked them when the impeachment proceedings were taking place, they would have a file on all of them, and they would be able to destroy reputations of people so that they could intimidate them into voting for him and to vote against the impeachment proceedings. Here is a man who was found guilty of perjury, and that's all she did all her life, is protect this man every time he was caught committing crimes of different kinds. And that's her only experience. Did you ever see her involved in anything else? Nothing, except the healthcare program at that time, which almost destroyed her party, destroyed his presidency, and left everybody hanging and wondering where the hell anybody could be stupid enough to call this a healthcare program. It was so roundly condemned that she never mentioned it again since, and she's ashamed and embarrassed that she ever thought of it. And now she has a new healthcare program pretending she never mentioned the first healthcare program. She doesn't make any more sense on this issue than any other issue because she's not involved with any issue. She doesn't care about any issue. All she has is a violent ambition. So determined to become president, she doesn't care what lies she tells, what information she gives you. She contradicts herself every 10 seconds and couldn't care less. All of a sudden, she's a genius because she sat with Mrs. Bhutto for a cup of tea. If I sat with Eric Sharon for a cup of tea, would that make me a candidate for prime minister? I had more than one cup of tea with more people than she has. International leaders from all over the world. So I claim to you that I should be president because of a cup of tea, because I had a meeting. You know how many meetings Mrs. Bhutto had with how many people? Thousands of people spent the same 10 minutes with her that she did. Should they all run for president? Should they all be elected? How stupid could you get? And when are you going to get a conscience enough to tell the truth about anything? She ought to be ashamed of herself, and if you want to vote for her, you ought to be ashamed of yourself too.
I have known Benazir Bhutto for a dozen years, and I knew her as a leader.
By the way, I want to wish you all a very happy New Year, and the happiest of the New Years. And you'll never be happier than if you listen to me and you'll listen to find out what I've got to say. And I even want to wish a happy New Year to Hillary Clinton and even to her husband. Just because a man is a fake or she's a liar doesn't mean they don't deserve a happy New Year. They deserve the happiest of New Years, and it'll only be happy if she changes and she decides to become an honest person. Until then, I don't know.
Could you believe me when I said I love you, when you know I've been a liar all my life?
You've had that reputation since you was a youth.
You must have been insane to think I'd tell you the truth.
How could I believe you when you said we'd marry?
Why, you know I'd rather hang than have a wife. I know I said I'd make you mine.
Now wouldn't you know that I would go for that old line?
How could you believe me when I said I love you when you know I've been a liar?
You sure have been a liar.
A double-crossing liar.
A double-crossing liar.
All my doggone cheating lies.
You said you would love me long.
So what?
And never would do me wrong.
Stop bending the suit.
Faithful you'd always be.
Me? Why, baby, you must be loony to trust a lower than low two-timer like me.
You said I'd have everything.
Get hard.
A beautiful